manipulate as well. So here's a live demo. Look at Tim moving his hand. Everything he does gets sent to that little robotic hand. All of these things we put together, printed, and made here in the makerspace, as Stacy mentioned. So the next step is to allow the user to feel what they are manipulating. I'll get to that in a sec. But in essence, what we're doing is we're making computer interaction personal. So we're not the only ones that are trying to do something like this. There's actually a good handful of companies that are out there trying to change the way that people interact with computers. But what really sets us apart is that, although it may not look very simple right now, we're using very simple machinery to produce these kind of signals that can be read by the computer. And we're doing it in a way that's very intuitive and human-like, and in a way that will be cost-effective to the end user. But in order to get to those points where it will be a lot sleeker and a lot more cost-effective, we would like to enter into the market through the military space, where we can kind of develop our technology and refine it before releasing it to the general public. We'd like to do this through the use of small business innovation research grants, SBIRs, and potentially acquiring government grants through a larger company. But ideally, where we're developing it in the military, we'd be able to work on more of the physical representation problems, where you could be one of these two gentlemen who are trying to get rid of an IED, and the current use of technology is basically send a robot, blow it up, and then you lose a lot of valuable information. But with our product, in theory, the user will be able to use their hands with their full dexterity to defuse an IED, see where the source is from, get a lot of very useful information. All of that can be done while they're not in harm's way. But we know that there's a lot of potential in other industries as well. So once we've kind of refined our technology to the point where we see it's meeting our needs, we'd like to expand into other fields such as gaming, robotic surgery, really any industry where the human interacts with the computer. And to show that we can actually do this, in addition to the live demo that we got going on, I'm going to go over the team. So as I said, my name is Ben Margraf. I'm the founder and CEO, and I am a biomedical engineering senior. Tim Meyer over there, he is a mechanical engineering student, a senior, and he's one of our founding members and the director of research and development. Tom Buchanan over there is also a biomedical engineering senior, and he's our chief operating officer. And finally, Catherine Grant, who's behind you, is she's a public relations and policy studies major, and she's our director of communications. We also have Dave Smolnicki, who's not here right now, but he's working on our software prototypes, so being able to make a virtual representation of the hand. And Anthony Taranoni is our business advisor. He's kind of gone through all of this. He had some IP acquired by iRobot, so he kind of knows the ropes and has some contacts in the military space. So what's next? We're asking for the full $500 to cover the cost of developing haptic prototypes or haptic proof of concepts similar to what we have here. And as you can see from this list, there's a lot that goes into creating a real sense of feeling, temperature, vibration, force, pressure, and we'd like to come up with proof of concepts for each one of these different sensations, validate them, and when we feel that they are ready, we want to integrate them into the glove itself. And so most of the money would go toward parts. For instance, thermoelectric coolers are these really cool little electrical components that have the ability to create a temperature gradient so that you can create both cold and hot with them. And they vary in size and price and can be anywhere from about $20 to $100 depending on the surface area you want to cover. So in conclusion, we have computer interfaces are very unintuitive. They've remained the same for a long time. There's lots of competition out there that are trying to solve this problem, which means there's lots of money being thrown at it. And our glove sets itself apart by being intuitive, cost-effective, and giving the user a sense of touch. We want you all to feel the unreal. So on that note, real quick before we get into questions, we just want to let you know we have about a week left where anyone can go to our Facebook or Twitter pages and they can send us a message with their suggestion for the name of what our glove should be and the hashtag name the glove. And at the end of the week, we're going to be announcing a winner and they'll be receiving a contact theme prize. Cool. So on that note, any questions?
Who is your technical advisor? I assume that you've worked with some faculty member or more senior scientists in developing this.
So Anthony Taranoni, he was actually a biomedical engineer as well, so he's able to help us on both the technical and business side of things. He's been a really great mentor so far.
And what is he doing now?
He actually runs his own business where he's developing similar ideas and he tries to sell them off. IP typically is what he'll sell off.
So he has military connections?
He does, yes. So we're talking to Saab Census, and they're getting us in touch with RDEC, and they are kind of the people to talk to when you want to validate if something would work for bomb defusal, for instance.
Great.
And what was Saab's Census reaction when you approached them?
So we talked to Eric Smith, I don't know if you know him, but he was saying that he thought one of the big markets that we could get into with this was actually training scenarios in a world where we're kind of pulling out of wars right now. Well, I guess that's changing with ISIS, but he was saying that there's a big market for training kind of those fine motor skills to soldiers, and he saw a big potential for the virtual side of things, being able to train those motor skills to soldiers.
So you mentioned SBIR.
Yes.
Have you done any
Research homework to investigate? Are there any opportunities out there? Are any of the 11 federal agencies that are involved with SBIR looking for this type of?
Yes, actually, there is an SBIR whose deadline is in December, and it's through the National Science Foundation. And what's nice about the NSF is they kind of have more broad, they're looking for engineering type solutions, and they're looking right now for some kind of technology that essentially improves human-computer interactions. So this kind of falls right into that. Then we are looking into applying for that SBIR.
Have you spoken with the program officer there?
I have not, no.
In general, NSF is looking for more fundamental research kind of questions, so you might want to talk to the program officer.
Okay.
Have you looked at the SBIRs for the military? I mean, if that's the direction that you're heading.
Well, the reason we looked in the NSF is we actually went to a workshop last week about SBIRs, and there's a company out in Rome where they basically take people with ideas and kind of put them up with the right SBIRs. And,
Which company?
it is.
Furnace?
It's not Furnace. It's
Commercialization Academy?
it's got kind of a Roman name. I'm sorry. What? Centurion Technologies. Yes.
Okay. Be suspicious of those and talk to me after.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So, so you asked for $500.
Yes.
Timeline for development of those 4 or 5 different areas.
So what's nice is I was actually able to get this to correspond with my senior project. So we're basically setting deadlines to meet with having proof of concepts for all of those by the end of the year. And I do believe that's possible. They may not be refined, but essential proof of concept is what we're going for, and I believe that's doable by the end of the year.
Is your ultimate goal to license this tech, to basically sell this, but not to just obviously produce and manufacture it yourself?
Yes, it is.
That was my question. I didn't hear anything about the business model or what your path to market is ultimately going to be, or is it just too soon to?
Yeah, so we're thinking about marketing, but we're mostly engineers, and we actually have a group that's working on their EEE capstone project using our business as a model. So we've been able to get a group of students that are actively developing that for us. But it's kind of too early to talk about that right now because we're focused mainly on developing the technology and just getting the awareness generated first.
So,
So as you approach military and think about its use in military situations, you're obviously going to be in a lot of places where there are extreme weather conditions and other things that can adversely affect technology, specifically the technology you're looking at. I'm just wondering if you've done any research into that, or if that's something that you would expect someone else to take once you pass the baton or sell the idea to someone else.
So we have not done much research into that area. Again, I think that's a little bit further than where we are right now. But I'm sort of leaning toward that would probably be something that we would pass the baton on, and that would be further developed by some kind of military company.
So I think it's fair to say that your very early stage research and development stage, you know, $500, frankly, probably not gonna get you very far.
Yes.
So frankly, why should we give you guys the $500 versus another company that it's actually going to get them significant progress to their goal?
Well, I mean, I think what's great about our product is that it's not just an app or something that can be developed very easily. However, once it is developed, I believe that it has much more of a shot of making a lot of money because, as I showed a couple slides ago, there are a lot of markets out there that are looking to interact with computers, and they're putting a lot of money into kind of those R&D spaces and trying to develop it. For instance, like Oculus Rift, one of their biggest things, and their CEO was quoted as saying at their last event that they do not have a way to interact with their virtual spaces, and they're actively looking for something like that. So I think that is why we stand out.
I know we're out of time, but just one quick question. Did you protect the IP? Do you have, is anything patentable, and have you done anything about protecting something?
Things are patentable. We have not patented yet. That's one of the things. We've done research into the cost of patenting, and it's usually between $10,000 to $40,000 depending on how the process goes.
Have you talked to SU
We're-
if you're doing this as capstone? Anyway, sorry.
Yes, actually, we're going to the law school to talk with them. So
All right, thanks, guys.
thank you.
Audience questions?
Are there any audience questions?
We got 5 minutes. 5 minutes audience questions.
What's up, Nate?
Is there any other groups who possibly work for Sony's now in the virtual reality system as well that might be able to work with you? That's in the civilian sector, not the military sector.
So absolutely, Oculus Rift is a great example. I would love to be bought by Oculus Rift. But in addition to that, like you said, Sony's done Project Morpheus, which is a VR headset. You also have companies like Leap Motion, which is doing a lot of, that's one of our competition actually, where they're working more with, they shine light out, it reflects back, and they can tell where the hand is. So there are several companies in the civilian sector that are doing things like this that we could partner with. Thank you.
Any other audience questions? No? All right, thanks, Contact.
Hey, thank you very much.
All right. So, the judges, when you guys ask questions, if you could hold the mic a little closer to your mouth, it's kind of hard to pick up the noise. So that was Contact. That was great. If anybody out here is interested in tweeting along with the event today, you can use the hashtag StartSU. And that's actually something that we're going to keep going throughout the rest of the semester. So whenever you see something neat going on, something innovative with entrepreneurs, throw the hashtag StartSU and get a conversation going on Twitter. If you want to follow us and find out more about IDEA, you can follow the handle at IdeaQs. That's at IdeaQs. And actually, if you find what's going on interesting today, you can actually, this is kind of just like a sample of a larger contest we have at the end of the year called the RVD Awards. There's $10,000 in funding available, and it goes on the same day as the Panache contest as well, which we encourage you to apply to as well. That's $20,000 in funding. And I want to use that as a way to thank another one of our judges, David Bull. Jeez, sorry guys. Oh. Well, anyway, David Bull helped me with my pitch last year as I was preparing to go into the RVDA contest, and I don't think I would have seen half the success that I saw, so thank you, David. David is the senior advisor at the New York State Small Business Development Center, and he works with small companies like the one I was running at the time to get off the ground and get them going.
Work fine.
So with that, I want to bring on our next contestant, you local.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you all hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. We decided to create this app when we were studying in the Netherlands. By we mean me, myself, an Italian student that is just mastering here in the IM program at Syracuse University, and Eduardo, my business partner, who is currently studying in Germany. He couldn't be here, obviously, because he's studying there. While we were in the Netherlands, we found that it was really hard for us to get in the place and get real information as we were tourists or travelers. So we decided that something should have been done. And TripAdvisor or search engines couldn't solve that yet. So we were brainstorming about it, and one day Eduardo came home and said, "I have an idea. Let's make this link between travelers and local people, because local people are the ones that know the place better than everyone else, right?" So when he said this, we actually didn't create anything yet. So we needed to make this thing possible and create this link right away. This link needed to be, first of all, easy, and second characteristic needed to have, it was fast. It needed to be really fast. So we decided that the right technology was an app. And the right app need to have a VoIP connection, so a voice over Internet protocol. If you all know the technology, this is a technology that's pretty new, so not everyone feels comfortable with using it, so we had to back it up with a chat service. So a tourist gets in a city, tries to find information. He doesn't find any feedback from anyone. In our app, you find the people that live there and you contact them through call or chat right away, so it's fast. We decided to put this and on Google Play. This is because at the time in 2013, it was 92% of the market. We decided to call it uLocal because it really gave the idea that a traveler feels like a local person. If you ask us about the revenue model, it's really simple because it needed to be competitive with the giants like Google. So we decided that our chat needed to be free, our call needed to be free, and it's international voice call. It is completely free. So this is really what is driving our app, and the download is free as well. When it came to market our app, we knew it was something different. After a product is developed, we needed to really stand out and market our product. So we needed to find the right platforms to do it. And we need, as of now, $481 to implement 2 SDKs. One is Fixu and one is Flurry. The first platform, if you guys don't know it, it's a really simple platform for app developers that want to market their app and really get the statistics from every single other app and really get targeted ads so that any single dollar we spend on it is really targeted to travelers. The second one is to make our app sustainable so that any single dollar we put in Fixu, we can monetize it. Any single dollar that is placed in our app is for us to build a user base. And that user base is going to give us more views. And their views are valued by Flurry with money. So we will be basically sustainable by ourselves. Thank you all.
All right, thank you, Leah. I'm now going to open it up to judging questions. Judges, do you have any questions?
So it sounds like you have two types of users. One is the traveler, and then you also have the local user. So I didn't quite grasp. I can see why, as a traveler, I'd want to make use of service. What's my incentive as a local person to get random chat requests and phone calls from travelers from who knows where they're coming from?
That was our first problem that we thought of when we had the idea. But we actually came to acknowledge that that was the only problem we didn't have. Like any single one, if you go around and ask all those people, tell me where to go, tell me where's the closest bar from here, they are willing to do that. They're willing. They're more, it's, in business terms, it's an externality that we're not exploiting. And they're really, really welcome to do it. They're really willing to do that.
That I get. I guess the question is, sure, you can ask me from a guy on the street about, yeah, go to that pizza shop, not that one. But how are you going to get me, the knowledgeable local resident, to download your app and be willing to give advice where it requires some sort of action on my part, right? Random interactions?
It's a two-sided, as you said, it's a two-sided platform where actually the guides that we have are ranked in willingness by their willingness to give information. So the first one you find are really outgoing people, and maybe they can be PRs or people that do it as a job. So they can have any kind of interest behind it. Even restaurant owners or anyone can do that. And you can see our interests are behind that.
So, quick question. What is your name? What is your background?
My name is Elia Fornari, and I'm an Italian student. When I was 17, I went to Cincinnati for 1 year, and then I came back, graduated from a scientific high school. Then I studied business in Rome, in the second school, business school in Italy. Then during my second year, I was one of the lucky 25 students who were brought to the Netherlands to study in Utrecht University for 1 year. During my third year, we developed this project as well. I graduated this July from Lewis Business School in Rome, and I'm here studying information management at the School of Service.
If you don't screen the locals, so these are the people who want to do it, right? You even mentioned restaurant owners. How is your user going to know that the information they're getting is trustworthy? Because the restaurant owners or people who are on there for their own random motivations could give them terrible advice about what to go, where to go, and what to do.
That's the point. If you open our app, you can see that anytime you get an information in any single point after the call and during the chat, you can rate them, and the rating brings them down. And we saw after statistics that actually a user only sees the first 5. If you have too much information, they're not going to see the others. So we're thinking about a natural canceling out of this bad information you're talking about. But yeah, this is one of the main problems we're
I think you'll lose a lot of users.
So I'm struggling with a couple of things. So I think there's a foundation of a good idea here. It's sort of like crowdsourcing for travel, where you get nice people who want to help travelers who come to their towns, villages, countries. But my assumption here is that, well, and I have to assume because I don't see an app here yet, I don't see a prototype of an app, I don't see an app being demonstrated. But my assumption here is that I, as a traveler, have to have the app on my phone, and then we need a whole bunch of people wherever I'm going to have the app on their phone, so that they're basically listening to my pleas for help. So what incents the locals in any town, village, or country to load the app? If I'm a restaurant owner, I might do it because I'm going to be listening for questions about my restaurant. But why would anyone else?
That's the same question answered them. But yeah, this was the first problem we faced, and we actually didn't know how to solve it first. But we actually found that the problem was the opposite, that travelers are not asking. We found that any single one that registers in our app is willing to give information just because he has a whole bunch of information that he's not sharing about his township or his city. I think this is a big externality that anyone can understand and anyone can put in place to help each other.
Awesome. And now we're going to open it up to audience questions. Do we have any audience questions?
Uh-oh.
No? Nobody? All right. Well, thank
I
you.
got a problem.
Julia. All right, so that was you, local. And so last time I came up here, I was telling you guys about the RBD Idea Awards, but that isn't the last time any student entrepreneurs out there have to wait to find an opportunity to get some funding. We are hosting another Idea Juicer. It's actually going to be on Halloween. So we encourage the judges, the participants, the audience who comes out to that Idea Juicer to dress up, wear a costume. We're thinking about having a Best Costume Award as well. The deadline to apply for that is October 24th. And in addition to that, we also offer other programming. Instead of just offering resources for funding, we do also offer educational programming through RBD Idea. So every other Wednesday, we host what is called Idea Chat CNY at 6 p.m. It's a web series where we bring on innovative thinkers, entrepreneurs from across the world to talk about their experiences and share students along the way, share that information with students along the way. So on October 22nd is our next episode, and we're going to be talking to Peter Herbert, who is a venture capitalist based out of Palo Alto. So with that, I'm going to bring on our next guest, Lakeshore Birds. You guys ready? All right, guys. You have the floor.
Turn it on.
Hello.
Oh, mic on. Mic on.
Hello, I'm Stephen Borland. I'm a junior aerospace engineer. I've been skateboarding for most of my life.
Wait, we need more mic. Yeah.
Might have the whole in front of you.
Testing. Hello, I'm Stephen Bordelais. Junior. I've been skateboarding for most of my life. I've been woodworking and fiberglassing since 2001. I started building and designing skateboards my freshman year of high school. When I was in high school, it was just for fun. As I became more skilled, I began designing more complex boards. In the summer of 2013, I designed a board that eventually a big-name longboard company would roll out 2 months later as one of their major models. This was my aha moment. So when I realized I could design boards, and this was when Lakeside Boards was founded. Lakeside Boards wants to bring back individualism and originality to the skateboard industry. We want to do this by providing our customers the option of customizing their board from its shape and trucks to the art that's on it. As of 2009, as stated by Mintel, there's 16.3 million participants in wheeled sports. That includes skateboarding and biking. Particularly skateboarding accounts for the largest percentage of youth participation in action and extreme sports. A skateboard consists of a board or deck, a pair of trucks that let you turn, wheels that get you going. We build the decks, but can obtain and assemble the rest that customers demand. The boards are very durable, and we ride them every day. Today I have with me one of our original prototypes, which we've been testing for the last year, and 2 of our most recent boards, which we finished this week. The Shiva was designed a year ago and tested and shredded, as you see. This testing has led to an improved design and construction quality, as demonstrated by the newer Rosie and Shiva models over here. We build them, we test them, and we ride them. I've already introduced myself, but I'm not alone at Lakeside Boards. Our team consists of Ugo Obieshi, a junior mechanical engineer who's been an avid skateboarder and is our co-designer, and Ryan Colbert, who's a junior architecture student, also an avid skateboarder, is in charge of graphics and assists on production. We're also being helped by Nate Forer of Mount Tech, who's experienced with startups and is the founder of Mount Tech. Most companies have their own board production lineup, each model having standard dimensions and graphics. Lakeside Boards is unique because we focus on building the perfect board for each rider. Each board is a labor of love and a piece of art. We have 4 base models that we can build and customize. We're also working on standardized production versions. Providing standard models will bring in consistent revenue, while customizing keeps us unique and builds a loyal customer bases. We've also reached out to Sarah McCoubry and Roger DeMuth and Schaefer to recruit new artists, as well as Don Carr, who's involved in the industrial design program.
Our skateboard decks are made by individually gluing as many as 8 very thin layers of wood, placing them onto a mold of our design, placing them into a vacuum bag. And then take the board out, cut out the shape that we desire, and then we further sand and smooth the process of the board until we are satisfied. However, this build process is very slow. We only have one vacuum bag, and our tools merely consist of a jigsaw and a sander. And sanding per board takes as much as 5 hours. $500 will get Lakeside boards into the marketplace. With new equipment, the build process can be streamlined and build time cut by as much as 60%. Ultimately, this can take our board output from 1 a week up to 4 a week. Right now, each board costs $40 worth of materials and an additional $60 worth of build time, which we retail at $100, which just covers costs.
Your time.
Thank you, buddy. So, judges, do you have any questions? Sample.
So how much does one of your boards cost?
To produce or that we retail?
Retail.
We retail our boards between $100 and $110, but depending on the level of customization a client wants, it would go up from there.
And how is that rate to a board that I might go buy anywhere else?
The average cost for a wooden longboard is between $100 and $140 right now.
So we're competing at industry standards, but we don't have the same production facilities that many of the leaders in our industry have.
So are you making these boards at a loss?
No, we are making them at a profit board-wise, but the time investment is very, yes.
So is that $60? Does that account for a reasonable labor cost?
Yeah, it's basically our manual labor cost and a paid hour.
So that is an actual $60 cost. Do you have sales currently?
Yes.
Yes, we have, in the last month and a half alone, we've had 3 boards that we have built and sold, and then we have an additional 2 orders that are back ordered, but we don't have the wood to fulfill them yet.
So ultimately, you want to turn this into a full-blown manufacturing operation, cranking out thousands of boards. What is the goal?
Our long-term goal is to maintain the originality and customization aspect of Lakeside boards. We don't want to produce 1,000 boards. We want to produce maybe 15 or 20 of one design, one limited run for people, and if they want specific ones, we can just do them in an individual board. And there's currently another company that is doing very similar concept that's been working fantastically for that. They've been selling on a small scale to individual riders, and they're very, very popular. They sell out like that.
I'm just wondering how you're ever going to produce enough to make a reasonable profit. That's what's going through my head. I'm wondering, have you crunched the numbers on how many you need to make in order to earn a living doing this?
No, we haven't. But with cutting with what we invest more gas, we cut down on time, so we increase our profit. So instead of turning out 4, we turn out more in less in the same amount of time, I guess, and 3 or so in the same amount of time it takes to sell one.
Right, but right now you're selling them at break even. I don't know what hourly rate you're paying yourselves, but you're looking at going from $0 a week to like maybe splitting $100 between the 3 of you. And that doesn't feel like a sustainable business.
At the moment, it's all going back into the business. There's nothing that's us. We're just trying to we sell one board and we get to the next set of boards, and then we can sell more, and we get to the next set of boards and we can sell more.
So what's the long-term plan?
By the time we graduate, we'd love to be able to produce boards for skateboarders across the country, be able to do exactly what they want and get them back to them within a reasonable amount of time.
But you're always planning to have day jobs and do this as a hobby?
No.
Right.
Not if we can. Not if this works.
And can you replace yourselves at the same cost that you're paying yourselves for labor? Can you replace yourself? Like, can you hire other people to do this work as you scale up? Because right now there's only 3 of you doing what looks like a pretty labor-intensive process.
Yeah, but again, with an investment, you cut down the labor that we needed to put into to the boards. So
It takes a lot of time for us to build boards right now because we're limited equipment-wise. We only have the most basic essentials. And it doesn't, with a router that would cost $70, we could cut our time by 60%.
All right, then I have one more. So why buy your boards over, you said that there's another company that's doing this very successfully, and obviously there are production boards that are commercial. What is your market? And why are people buying your boards versus any of the other options?
the company that he talked about that sells the boards on an individual basis retails their boards at $200 to $250. They're a massive increase for anybody just trying to get into the sport. That's a lot of money to drop on just a piece of equipment. Not including the trucks and the field to get you going. The fact that we can set it the entire board up for less than what that company charges for just the deck alone is where we're really going.
Can you buy unfinished boards to customize on your own?
No, not really. You can traditional.
You can't buy a deck that's not
You
finished.
can't buy anything
finish
for
it
yourself. You can only buy the traditional skateboards that you probably see in the street hotels. And yeah, you can buy those, but I mean that's a very big difference.
Right, so your design, the actual board design.
The shape of the wood and curves is what makes specifically these models unique. And we can take, and at a very cheap rate, we can actually customize further other boards for other people. If someone wants one of these boards, but a little different than the rest of them, we can easily do that for them. And it doesn't
One
cost
last question, is this functionally better than another board, or is that cosmetic entirely?
I mean it's functionally better. It's concave, it's more intense, it locks it better.
I don't know if you've seen the concave one.
Yeah,
It's like if you run your hands here, you can alter like the cave and the way it flexes in, so you can flex this.
Fantastic. All right, and do we have any audience questions? We do, Nate. Wait, hold up, buddy. Let me bring you the mic.
So I was curious. You said that cost right now is $10 boards before. Why does having all of these? Why would having $500 help you cut costs?
With $500, we could gather the most basic essential, or the next step of equipment that we need to cut our production costs down, or our production time down, so that then we can have more room for profit margin for each board. And that will allow us to sell our boards directly to local skate shops within profit margins that allow for them as well. It also allows us to obtain the $500 would also allow us to obtain the first amount of wood, which will let us produce a couple versions of each board that we can then further sell online, bring to skate shops, demonstrate to them, and begin showing off. Because at the moment, we're just building for people at demand, but we don't have any backup stock. We don't have anything that we can show off yet, other than what we have here today.
What would that profit margin be?
If with the $500, with specifically $200 worth of wood for 8 boards, that's 8 boards that we can sell at $100 each or more, depending on the level of customization, if any of them are ordered for that they want, the customer's desire.
Fantastic. Any other questions, audience? See? No? All right. Thank you, guys. All right. And with that, I want to thank the last 2 judges for coming out tonight. We have Dan Rickman, who works with the Syracuse branch of the U.S. Small Business Association. So he helps small businesses like these grow and thrive. And we have Laura Welch, who is the Deputy Director of the Center for Advanced Systems and Engineering. So she helps do research so that high-tech companies can thrive and move there. She kind of acts like a catalyst in that respect.
And get SBIR.
And get SBIR. So definitely keep that in mind.
And it's free.
And it's free. Look at that. Also, I do want to let everybody out here know that another offering that RBD has coming up is there's something in Buffalo called the Startup Scramble. It's on October 28th. It's part of 43 North week-long celebration of entrepreneurship. So it's part of the governor's Buffalo Billion Initiative. And basically, there's going to be a keynote speaker and a lot of workshops going on throughout the downtown area. We at RBD are chartering a bus there. So if you want to get in for free, you can go to tinyurl.com/BuffaloBus and use the promo code STARTSU. So again, that's the same promo code as the hashtag for today, so you can join the conversation with StartSU. And the registration deadline for that is October 20th. Lastly, I want to say if you enjoyed the contest today and you want to participate for yourself and your own company has a chance to get some money, the next Idea Juicer, like I said, is on Halloween. The deadline to apply is the 21st, so keep that in mind as you're gearing up and getting ready to get some funding. Lastly, before I bring on Caveman Muffins, I do want to ask everybody in the back if you could just try to keep it down just a little bit. There's some family up here trying to see their loved ones pitch. After this, we'll have an open house. You guys can grab some pizza and enjoy. But in the meantime, just try to keep it down so everybody can hear. All right, thank you. So Zach? All right, passing it off to Zach.
Can I get the mic? Yeah, of course. Hi guys, thank you for coming out today. My name is Zach Schlein and I am the owner of Caveman Protein Muffins. So a Caveman Protein Muffin is a gluten-free muffin that acts as a meal replacement. So I want to first tell you a little bit about myself. I am a certified health coach and I've been doing the paleo diet for 2 years. So I have a question for you guys. How many of you don't have the time to eat healthy in the morning? Show of hands. Anyone? Okay, yeah, a few of you guys. So what happens is we're about to go to work and we just don't have the time to eat breakfast. So what do? We grab a bagel. We grab a bagel, we eat that. We get to work and guess what happens? We're hungry again. We're hungry, we are stressed, and we're stressed because we ate a bagel. So the solution, we created the first gluten-free protein muffin. So what this will do, it will save you time, it will save you energy, it'll give you energy, and most importantly, it allows you to eat healthy, guilt-free. So the muffin itself, it comes in 3 different flavors: banana chocolate, zucchini, as well as apple cinnamon raisin, and we keep it frozen, which allows it to have a long shelf life of 3 months. So the reason we make these muffins is because we want people to eat something that is healthy, but also really delicious. So the current market size, the gluten-free industry is a $10.5 billion industry, and by 2016, this is over $15 billion. And even more surprisingly, 24% of all households in the United States has at least one individual that eats gluten-free. So we definitely did validate this. We started over the summer, Caveman Protein Muffins, and to date, we've sold over 200 muffins. Our customers have been athletes who eat our muffins post-workout, students who just either don't have time to cook or cook healthy, or maybe just don't like cooking at all. And then the last is we find women really enjoy our muffins who work full-time and just don't have the time to cook healthy. So recently, we are now partnering with Whole Foods. We are finalizing that deal as we speak up in New Hampshire as our first big grocery store. So what's our plan? Well, our plan is to start in this one Whole Foods. Obviously, as we expand Whole Foods in New Hampshire, as well as Massachusetts, and then expand from there. But for the given time, our surplus will go to stores and gyms in New Hampshire, in Syracuse, Westchester, and New York City. So we're all set in New Hampshire. My brother lives there, and he will be doing sales there. So the business model. So we sell our muffins for $5 as the meal replacement. Our margins are $1.75. So this is our 3-year projections. Our first year would be at 1 grocery store at Whole Foods. Total number of stores, 5. And then we go from 10 and then to 35. So you can see that. I'll give you a little bit of time to look at that. So yes, we do have competition. Gluten-free is hot. So Boulder Brands is our largest competitor. They own subsidiaries such as Glutino and Udi's. Udi's actually does make a gluten-free muffin as well.
Our other competitors are GNC and Pure Protein. GNC and Pure Protein offer meal replacement bars as well as meal replacement shakes. And especially, how are we different than Udi's? Well, unlike Udi's, our muffin is packed with protein and has no artificial ingredients. And then compared to brands such as GNC, our muffin, GNC is their products are loaded with sugar as well as artificial ingredients. So we pride ourselves on transparency as well as real whole ingredients. Another competitive advantage is obviously our partnership with Whole Foods. That's huge for us. And then, like I said, no artificial ingredients. And then it's family owned. I find in the industry, gluten-free products are often sold, are hot when it's a family-owned business, not very corporate. So the team. This is my mom as well as myself. So my mom is the mastermind behind the recipe. We have spent over 100 hours in the kitchen baking our 3 muffins. So my role is the business development, the marketing, and the sales. So we're a great team. So our ask today, Caveman Protein Muffins is asking for the full amount of money of $500. This would go to subsidize our kitchen costs. Our kitchen costs 20%. Great. Any questions? Yeah. Any questions?
So is there anything proprietary about the?
So what would be, we would be trademarking our name, Caveman Protein Muffins, as well as Caveman Muffins. Yeah, so that's what we would be doing.
Is there anything proprietary about the product?
In terms
like
of the
that,
recipe.
what keeps me from being able to make an identical looking muffin?
That's a great question. So so in terms of the muffin itself, on our ingredients, we don't list how much of each thing. We say spices, so you're allowed to say that. But in terms of, you can't really, I mean, you could, copying a recipe is tricky because you're allowed to copy 2 of the ingredients to not make it unique anymore. But really, it's the brand. And then obviously, I'm going to go back to Whole Foods. That's a big advantage. I mean, you go into the Whole Foods freezer. The only muffin right now is Udi's. And again, ours is protein packed and has no artificial ingredients.
So I got a ton of questions.
Yeah.
I will limit it to like financial ones first. Your margins, it was $1.75, so it's like a what 30% margin. For me, for what little I know about food, that seems low. Are you rolling additional like overhead costs, or what is that cost?
So what I'm including is obviously the ingredients, the kitchen costs, which are extremely high. Right now, we're paying $27 an hour up in New Hampshire. Obviously, as we increase the muffin supply, that will go right down.
So what's the percentage fixed cost versus the variable?
Yeah. So yeah. So in terms of the ingredients, that is $1.50, and then I put overhead and the kitchen costs are 20% of the muffin.
Am I getting this wrong? Is it $1.75 is your cost?
Is the margin? That's how much made. Profit margin.
Okay. So what are your costs for the materials?
The cost of materials, so the ingredients are $1.50.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're rolling in all this variable costs on top.
Exactly.
Variable costs are really high. I expect that to go.
Oh, they're going to go way down. As a food product, your variable costs are always high in the beginning. But that's just something we know, and that's why I'm asking today for the $500 to really help us out with that, to take us to the next level.
Is it really 24% of households are gluten-free? Where'd you get that number?
So one individual of 24% of households are gluten-free. Yeah.
And what percent of those people actually can define gluten?
So celiac disease, 1% of people have celiac disease. However, which is very interesting, 70% of people that eat gluten-free eat it because of abdominal pain, fatigue, and just for energy purposes. So it's really a lifestyle, and you're starting to see that in the industry based off of the numbers.
Yeah, no comment about the gluten thing. But muffins, so right now you're using a commercial kitchen?
Yes, we are. So we've been baking out of the Southside Innovation Center. So now our new deal with Whole Foods would be to bake in New Hampshire. That's what's really going to drive that local feel, and then I'll just sell in Syracuse as well. So that's the zucchini. Yep. Yep. Zucchini.
So maybe Dan was going to ask this question. Yep. We kind of stole the microphone. Yep. So I love muffins.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of meals that were muffins.
Yeah.
I like money too.
Yeah.
$5 for a muffin. Yep. I'm not making the meal connection here. So how do we get that down to $3 a muffin, where you'll actually sell it in volume?
Yep. So interestingly, we had that concern as well. How can we drive down prices? However, we've had no problem so far selling it for $5. And Whole Foods, they sell loaves of bread for $13. So that's paleo bread because ingredients are so high cost. And also what's very interesting in the gluten-free industry, people aren't very worried about the price that eat gluten-free. I understand your concern, and we would definitely consider it once we are able to increase our supply. But right now, like I said, our variable costs are so high. So that's really the only way we can make money. Yeah.
Your distribution, you're planning on it being through stores like Whole Foods and
so really, so our goal is to get into Whole Foods, finalize that deal, and then what they often do with companies that are really successful, they'll do a deal with you where you can only be in Whole Foods. That's when you're in all 350 stores. But before then, we're going to be in gyms. I'm speaking to gyms here. CrossFit studios are very interested. Different smaller supermarkets in the area. So we're going to play around with that. But Whole Foods is really that anchor store.
What is the financial arrangement that you would work out with a store like that?
Yes.
Like, are you going to be able to?
Oh yeah. So with the store, our financial arrangement with other stores, we sell them for $4.50. So they make 50 cents, and then they could brand it there any way they would like. Yes. Questions from the audience?
I'll get you a mic.
I talk loud.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Okay, I have a few comments.
Yeah.
Number one, in my experience,
yes.
in my lifetime, it's usually the woman of the house that does the purchasing.
Yes.
If I had somebody in my house that has to eat gluten-free,
yes.
and I had to buy a muffin at the cost of $5, 5 days a week, that's $35 a week for one person for one stinky muffin. I'm sorry, that's way too much money. Secondly, as a woman, I find the term caveman very offensive. And I wondered, how did you come up with that name? And do you think you should consider making it a little less pounding my chest?
No, definitely. I mean, those are two great questions. So the first question, I'll answer that. So if someone eats our muffin 5 days a week, that's $25. And what you would do with that is, I mean, you could go down on Marshall Street right now. You're not buying a meal for $5. You'll spend at least $10 on a meal. And
yeah, but you're aiming at a population that's very limited. You're aiming at a population that's going to be grabbing something fast to eat for a short period.
Yeah. So it's actually our long-term goal. We see this industry just getting larger and larger. You're seeing the mainstream being gluten-free. We're not targeting just celiac disease. We have spoken to the Celiac Disease Organization to give them this muffin as well. However, it's going to be our goal is to really allow food to be healthy and delicious.
But it also has to be affordable. And have you ever heard of Whole Foods referred to as whole paycheck? I mean, I shop in Whole Foods also, but I like Trader Joe's much better because they're much more reasonable.
That's your personal opinion. So
yeah,
I mean,
it's all my opinion.
Yeah, of course.
Something to think about.
Thank you.
Don't only aim for the top.
Great, thank you.
So somebody in the audience, I can't ask more questions. Ask about nutrition content.
So we do have a Twitter question actually.
Oh.
Okay, so we're streaming this live, and we do have viewers online who have questions. One guy says that was the same guy. My Ryan Thomas Hart on Twitter. He says he wants to start throwing money at the screen right now for your muffins, and he asks where and when can he buy them?
Yep. So I have an email. It's zach@cavemanmuffins.com. So once we finalize, so you can shoot me an email right now, and I could drop them off. Also, in terms of in the future, we'll have a large supply once we finalize that deal with Whole Foods. So yeah, just shoot me an email, zach@cavemanmuffins.com, and you can like us on Facebook too. You can shoot us a message, and yeah, anytime. And thank you, by the way.
Hi.
Hi.
Question.
Yeah.
Craving, sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
You said all natural ingredients in
Yeah.
the muffins?
Yeah.
And you said the shelf life was 3 months?
In the freezer.
In the freezer?
Yes,
Oh,
yes, yes.
Also, are you claiming that a gluten-free diet is healthy?
Oh, a gluten-free diet is definitely healthier. I'm not going to say scientifically proven.
Okay.
I mean, I would never say that. But my personal opinion and the research I've read, a gluten-free diet. And the interesting thing to note is gluten-free products right now are loaded with sugar, disguised with sugar. And that's what we're really priding ourselves on. It's fruit that is the sugar intake, sugar content for a caveman protein muffin. So that's how we're different than most of gluten-free products. And yeah, any other questions?
Well, one more.
How many calories in a muffin?
Yep, so the apple cinnamon raisin, 330 calories. So they're in the 300 calorie range. And 300 to 440 calories. And you'll be stuffed after eating one muffin.
All right. Were there any more questions from the audience? Okay. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, guys.
Caveman muffins. All right. So now round of applause. So we are going to take a little break right now. The judges are going to go off and deliberate on what they thought about everybody. In the meantime, we do have pizza, and I believe some fruit is left over in the bag. So if you just got hungry listening to Zach's pitch, go grab yourself a bite to eat. And I'll get your attention in about 20 or 30 minutes. I'm going to go get myself a bite to eat. Oh!
Oh.
I just realized I was going to
Can I not pause this? So we just have to entertain the whole time? Hey, look, it's Pocket Giraffe. Pocket Giraffe.
I don't know what to do.
It's okay. Everybody just has to dance. I'm gonna put it on the thing. I'm gonna put it on the screen and turn the thing back on. Stay tuned for an episode of Pocket Giraffe. It's part of business. You did. It's part of business. It's part of the deal. Are you putting my calendar away?
Yes, it's on my calendar.
That's what really differentiates ourselves.
Oh, I'm so sorry. When the organization is yours, I pay for you. Either way,
Yes, I will be there.
Yeah.
I will be there. I'm off on Monday, so I have Monday. And then I have like
Oh.
But we have to buy something. It's actually during the next 6 days. Yeah. All right, right now.
Anybody else? Anybody else would like? I didn't get them outside.
My bag.
But that's my goal. My job is
I really hope that. I spend all day in Rome, right? Like I'm the former the chief scientist at AFRL sits on my advisory board and I was a close friend. So, I mean, and he's right now the head of the cyber. So I've been able to do it. He's helping with the furnace. I mean, they know what's going on with the furnace. And they have somebody yeah, let's get this. I'm it's true. Anybody?
Honestly, that's
Right, and also they need when they're in place with this, you can yesterday and the law is not very good. Like, they just haven't been I'll help them. Right. We love what they're doing, but $1 is what they do right now.
Whenever you used to work in a learning environment, classic technology stuff.
Like everybody.
Why is Johnny walking away? Sorry, you need a flex for this picture. I'm gonna come in. Show both triceps.
Oh, like all of it.
Are you in good place?
It could
What we do? You see these guys on the TV, don't trust them.
All right, ready?
Hang on, I'm still yours. I like the investment.
You get a little bit just like You're good. Ready?
All right, good.
Thank you.
There's no film in there.
Tough picture.
I'll put it on the Makerspace website.
By the way, these are pretty strong. So, you know, when you're a guy gets like that would be happening $500. So, yeah, it's like no product liability insurance. Yeah. I was like, oh my god.
You're also terrified as he's presenting when he's making safety equipment. All right. So,
They have a product, they're manufacturing something, they've sold some stuff, they need a business plan. They need to go sit down with you and develop a business plan. Right? Marketing research, financials, they have no cost. So,
Right, like those three guys. I think it's worth letting them. I would like to give them something to do.
It's lifestyle business too. They're doing this because they enjoy it's somewhat efficient. Right? And the next day. Yeah, and they show their costs. We know what they're going to spend on money on. Yeah, and I don't know.
No, but absolutely, I agree. I agree. They need to get this place out.
Or you need to set up a small business development center and sort of.
There you go.
Yeah. When I do that, it's very nice. Very nice. Why do I want to be able to? It's like I want to, like, it exists. And it makes it like is there something there? Yeah, but that's
And no one else is going to after what are you going to do with it? And what is this a real business or is this just something that you're going to do on your own? Yeah. Shapes of the board. I wanted to hear about this, right? This one that makes 10 turns, this one is about 2 wheels. We don't yeah, we didn't know about yeah.
And we say, here's the question we ask.
Where do I think it's going to make the most difference?
Yep, I've been there.
So, you know, as I like different something that's not processed, that doesn't have that much sugar, doesn't have a lot
Look at that.
No. She's not, you know what, actually, I think that's a very good point, though. She's not on it now, but 3 years from now, if he saturated them, the retail market, if he saturated those compared to the market, it's reasonable to think that you could sell a tray of discs that you just stick in here. But here's the thing. If I market just I think that the whole thing is, yes, it's fatty, gluten-free, that's going to be
Fat's not bad, bad fat.
I think the paleos are going to be around they are. They said, I was going to be around you or something like that. But it always holds great. There was hot, there was
Oh, that guy. The guy.
but there's always
The guy who's like always for everyone. Well, it's like he's constantly trying to compensate for being upstate. He's just one of those people. It's hard to see.
Also,
yeah, it's one of those you can't totally figure out if it's
I know. It's against anyway, by the time it comes time to scale beyond and commercial things, it's like someone will just say, we'll buy it. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you got it.
Thank you for answering that question.
Yeah.
So,
And also, it is our media idea. I don't understand
Any opinion? So, always been at the hospital.
I also spread myself a pocket. They were not worried about some my little pocket draft.
Alright, like honestly, they just take wrestling. They don't. That's exactly what I'm not gonna want to see that. Yes.
They're going really well. I mean, the others are great. I'm thinking for other states and class on yeah, they're both really good. They're very different. They're both challenging. Really enjoying Python also are yeah, I would say Python was amazing. You can use Python doesn't really have that great visual tools at all. There's some JavaScript because I also want to work in JavaScript in that area. So like static visualization is mostly hard. Yeah, it's like Python's like really cool tools for like aggregation, scraping, a lot of great stuff. And whereas R is like because like you know a lot of like you feel like you're talking like doing and the data structure for like character and that like and then the Python is very powerful in the environment. A lot of really powerful libraries and graphics, and it but yeah, so I would say Python now on. So yeah. Cool. Yeah. So you still work out now? Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, well, shut down. I gave it up. So if you so let's be right? Now it's time. Yeah.
They actually so after they have an outline after the meeting with all this else.
And then
Jordan like
that is right.
After they have the meeting with
Yes.
Yeah, I would say it's right. So spring break, so I was thinking, yeah,
That's so cool.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, I did. That's how I got my job. Yeah, that's the page where like, and not just like, oh, like, it just opened doors to me that I would never even have. Oh, fine. I mean, you said you're not interested out west, but so it's like for me, it's like I always had this idea. It's like, I wanted to try to do spring every month. And at the beginning of junior year, I'm like, oh, you know, I know, so it came up, and like it's networking.
You know what? See, here's where I'm here.
That's not on work, but like I had goals and I like worked my ass off, and that is like really because
well, actually, no, I didn't.
I get thrown some trail mix, and then all of a sudden I've got like a middle replacement.
Oh yeah. And not everyone that goes to go. My whole experience, I didn't really think it would be great to get other people were like, I already have a job. That's our stuff. And so like, I really want to see like these folks, but I also so it's like the application is like, and you're basically kind of like really making a case for why competitive, like how to get no grading. Yeah. So proper grading kind of things. After you guys like high school has you guys get that.
That's okay.
You guys get that? So the reason. Okay. So
All right, everybody. If I can have your attention. Everybody, I'm about to announce the winners. If I can just have your attention for no more than 10 minutes, that'd be great. You can get back to mingling. So the judges did their deliberation. They had a really tough time with it, had a lot of good points. I am going to start with the bad news first. Unfortunately, out of the 4 contestants, U Local isn't going to win any cash money today, but they did walk away with a great experience, great pitch practice. So they can take that next time if they come to another Idea Juicer or to an RVD Idea Awards. They can refine their pitch. And then the first award that we're going to give is to Contact. They're not going to get any cash, but Laura Welch is offering her advice for free, her expertise, to give you advice and counsel. So talk to Laura after. She'll tell you.
Come see me.
Come see Laura. She has a lot of experience in things like this, so she can tell you all about what she has to offer.
We add one thing.
Yes, you can add anything you want.
So we all felt the $500 for Contact would have been helpful in some probably very small way. We hope that you really do reach out and use the advice and the contacts, because in the end, I think that's going to be, or we all think that's going to be worth a lot more than $500. Okay.
Yeah, it was absolutely not about the quality of the business or the presentation, just the bang for $500.
All right. Third, we have Lakeshore Boards. They are actually going to win the full $500, but with a stipulation. So you guys, the Small Business Association is going to give you free advice and counsel to develop your business plan further. And once you have a solid business plan and something you're comfortable working with, then you're going to get the $500. So congratulations to you guys. Round of applause. And lastly, Caveman Muffins. We're very impressed, and you're going to walk away with the full $500. Congrats, buddy.
Judges love samples.
Judges love samples, she says. All right, so that concludes the event today, everybody. Thank you for coming out. Like I said, the next juicer is taking place on Halloween. Deadline to apply is October 24th. We encourage you to wear costumes, dress up, have some fun with it, and sign up for our mailing list before you leave so you can keep in touch with everything else RVD does. All right, thanks guys. Have a good night.
I need to get my costume going, right? I need to think about what I'm gonna wear. I want to get a Pusheen one.
You really? I know you need one.
Yeah, the whole internet knows about
Oh my gosh.